Thank you. And Gavin, give everyone a quick summary of the business so that we can know where we're at.
Okay, so I've got a couple of businesses, all based around law. So I'm a solicitor, so I'm running law practices. The first one is now established on its own and is running independently from me. The second one is I've only been there for 4 months, and that's a project I'm actively working in at the moment.
Now, you bought it or you started this one?
Acquired it.
Got it. And so 4 months in, how's the culture shift? Because this is the biggest thing of buying companies or acquiring companies, is shifting the culture to go from a, oh, it's okay culture to a performance culture.
So on the new one, the culture's excellent. And that's not my concern, because I'm there, I'm physically in front of people. We've got a really good vibe in the office. People are working hard. They're really proud of the work. But the one that I've set up to be self-managed, it just feels that like it's the culture's being eroded by absence. So that's why I'm really trying to tap into you, because you've got enough businesses that you know how to hold it.
Yep. Okay, so let's think of it this way. Have you got kids, Gavin, by chance?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. How many? How old are they, and how many?
17 and 15. So just 2.
Great. So let's imagine we set the 15-year-old out on their own now into the world and said, you've got to go and live by yourself and take care of yourself and make your own money and do all that sort of stuff. Would that be too early?
Possibly. She's incredibly smart.
But it would be let's having 21 and 22 and 23-year-olds. I can tell you, it'll be too early, dude.
Yeah,
even the 20-year-olds, some of them, it's too early. But the thing about it is, what generally happens is, if we move out of one and we're not there, how we held the culture together, we've not handed over that accountability to someone else. So if you look at, you know how we teach the above and below the point, okay? Below the point is the blame, excuse, denial, okay? So blame, excuse, denial is a lack of management. So what I would first of all do, Gavin, is put your team, go find your local action coach, put your team through our 12-week management training. Management breeds responsibility. So management is about 2 things, competency and productivity. So once we've built competency and productivity, then we can move into leadership, okay? And leadership is, once we've got them above that point, once we've removed the denial, the excuses, and the blame, and we've moved them above that point to responsibility, then we can move them to accountability and then to ownership. And that's where leadership kicks in. So if I was to rate the, if you were, Gavin, if you were to rate the management skills of your senior team in that company right now, what level of management skills would you say that senior team has on a scale of 1 to 10? Proactive, managing the organization, it runs smooth day to day.
It's a mixed bag, this, because some of them are used to ActionCOACH and used to the learnings.
So give me a score, Gavin. Don't give me a story. Give me a score. You know I'm a numbers guy.
True. So being honest, I'd say the managing director is right up there, probably a high 9. Really experienced. And
there's not a lot below that?
Well, there's a team of people below that. And don't get me wrong, I feel this is my fault. I'm not blaming anyone. I feel that they've not had the right training to get there. And it's starting to make sense, this.
Great.
So, yeah, I'd probably put them at 4 or 5.
Great. So there's the first challenge, right? So it's hard to hold a leadership culture together if the day-to-day is getting in the way. So we need to build solid management, because remember, management breeds competency and productivity. Lack of competency leads to messes, fires. You have to put out the fires. You're doing all of that stuff. You become a reactive manager rather than proactive manager. So then once we got them through the 12-week management, then we'll go into 12 weeks of leadership. Okay. And the 12 weeks of leadership then starts moving them into accountability and ownership. And that accountability and ownership is a very big part of what we need to bring. Now, leadership to me is about 2 main things, passion and focus. Gona, could you make sure that everyone here today has a chance to get my ebook on management and leadership? Is there a link we can put in the chat window for that? And maybe even, did I ever do a webinar on that that's on YouTube, Gona? Great. So can we put those 2 links in, please? So everyone grab the ebook, read that, and watch the video on management and leadership that's on my YouTube. If you're on YouTube, by the way, don't mess with my algorithm. Watch the whole dang thing, even if you let it play in the background. None of this watch 10-second stuff and turn it off. Got it? Good. Now, so focus and passion is what leadership is. So the culture thing. Now, do you have a documented culture, Gavin?
Yes. And we've created it with the team as well.
Great. And how often is that discussed, talked about, looked at? Are there awards for culture? What is the simple things? Like in our organization, above the point is ownership, accountable, responsible. That stands for OR, right? So one of our team gets the OR each week, and they hand it to another person who's living the culture and breathing the culture sort of thing. The awards for the culture and all of those sorts of things. How often you discuss the culture, where it is, the vision of the company. How often is the vision discussed? Where are we going? Why are we doing the what, the who, and why? And this is so great that the 2 of you and Ant are first, because he's right at the beginning. You're right at the end of having a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. You know, so in doing that, now the 3rd layer, so we do management, leadership, and the 3rd layer, we go to engage and grow, and we build engagement. Engagement is where the team then breeds the culture. They bring the culture. They become owners, custodians, guardians of the culture of the organization type thing. And so a lot of the time, and you go back to my team training, if you go into the 30X where I talk about in the team, and for anyone that has never done my 30X programs, there's the ebook. Thank you, Gona, for that. Anyone that's never done any of my 30X programs, please jump on bradsugars.com, do the 30Xs one at a time, or do the whole 90X, have lunch with me for 90 days straight. If you think I'm fast now, wait till you do lunch with me for 90 days straight. That'll mess up a few of your brains, that's for sure. But so Gav, and even thinking about your team, where do you put, what's their education system? Where are they learning more and all of that sort of stuff? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. And it's flagged a couple of points because I'm really aware that we pushed and really got everyone engaged in the culture. But then we're revisiting it quarterly. I just don't think that's enough. You know, it just hit me then that actually we need to embody the culture. We need to get people really engaged, and we need to say, which area of this culture do you feel you've embodied this week? Yeah. And I think by bringing that in and getting them back into
that reminds me. So, Gona, are you putting those YouTube links in the thing? Great. Can we also then add the YouTube link to the Engage and Grow playlist on my YouTube channel? So, Gavin, in there, I did a whole engagement video book with me, Marshall Goldsmith, Mark Thompson, and Rich Maloney about how to build engagement in a company, right? It's all free. It's on my YouTube. Now, one of the things in there Marshall talks about, he says, you know, to engage people, most companies, what they do is they ask how well did the company engage you this week? How engaged did you feel in it? Marshall does a whole thing in there where he teaches you how to flip it on its head. And instead of asking how engaged were you, what did you do to engage the team today? What did you do to live the culture today? Like, give them the accountability and responsibility to play above the point and not say, oh, well, the company didn't engage me today. It's not up to the company to engage you. It's up to you to engage other teammates. It's up to you to do those things. So, yeah, that set of videos will be very powerful for you and maybe even for the team. And again, go back to your coach. The 12-week management is really great for anyone at sort of supervisor level and above. And then the 12-week leadership is for the senior people, and then Engage is for the whole company. But we've got to get those fundamentals in place, and then the whole team can get involved in the engagement process. There's also a bunch of, if you jump on engageandgrow.com, which am I run out of these things? I'm not seeing a lot of the comments now for some reason. Sarah, can you just switch me out so I can see all the comments? Because I'm not seeing a lot of these links coming through. So if you go on there, there's a lot of ebooks too, Gav, and they're all free. So just grab them, have a watch or a read of those. And they take you through things like the leadership, all of that stuff. And it just gives you a lot of things to think about, buddy, that will help with that. You know, in an organization, and how often, so let me ask a question. How often are you reaching back into that team? You personally?
So what's happened is, as I exited 4 months-ish ago, I handed over to the MD and really kind of went, listen, I'm going to try and stay out your way and let you put your own stamp. I think that's where I went wrong.
You are the chairman of the board. You need to be there once a month.
Yeah.
Okay. See, in all of my companies, I'm not the CEO. I'm the chairman. Chairman visits once a month and gets in there. Now, you can also, Gavin, do a video every week that goes to all the team. There's no reason to not use video to be in communication with the team. There's no reason. With ActionCOACH, because ActionCOACH is now, what are we, in 83 countries? We got like thousands of team members. We got over 1,000 offices around the world. I do a town hall every 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks, I tell everyone, here's what's happened in the last 6 weeks. Here's where we're at. This is what's happening. And do you know what I mean? I make sure that even though I'm not there, I am there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm with them. I'm helping them. I'm keeping them in that sort of thing. And again, one of the keys to leadership, Gavin, and it's a very simple one. It's called 2 times a day, congratulate.
Yeah.
So if you think of your team back in that company, I literally have them sitting right here going, these are postcards, right?
Yeah.
And every day, 2 times a day, I write a postcard. This is the list of team members that I haven't sent a postcard to in the last year.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here, and every day when I notice something, I might see something on social media. I might see something that they put a testimonial up. I might see. Well, that brings me to write them a handwritten note. If your team back in there were getting handwritten Gavins, how does that boost them as people? How does that boost how they feel if your customers are getting handwritten Gavins? Because remember, the culture isn't just the internal people, it's the customers as well. If you're noticing the culture shift, your customers are also noticing the culture shift. So think of what event you can do to bring your customers in. Now, most of your customers, are they individuals or companies?
Mostly individuals.
Great. So what can you do to help educate them maybe? What can you do to give your knowledge to them about what's the next thing they should be thinking about legally in their structures, in their ways, and all of these things? So many things you can do to bring them into the community. And that's why, even back to that book I said to Ant, membership economy, how do you make it that they feel like they belong? Because once they feel like they belong, then they'll start giving you referrals and start doing that. So that goes back to that whole teaching of the ladder of loyalty. That's in 30X business, the ladder of loyalty.
Perfect.
Woo!
Well, that was really, really useful. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, buddy.